Okay, this is film number 14. This is my trip to Brazil. That's out of focus just a little. There we are. This is Salt Lake Airport telling the kids goodbye. Can't see who that is till he turns around. Must have been Dwayne. Or Lance. Yeah, there's three of them there, so it's Randy, Dwayne, and Lance. I think we had Mark then. No, I don't know if we had Mark or not. 56?
Yeah, that's Mark.
Yeah, that's Mark. It was Debbie we didn't have. Norlene was pregnant with Debbie about that time. There's the old airplane that flew me back to Washington, D.C. I was gone for a month and a half. Oh boy, look at that dance. I should have had these with more with the kids, but you know, it relates to the trip, so. There we are getting on board the airplane. Got our parachutes on. There's, can't remember who these guys are. These are Air Force pilots. I guess we're back in Washington already. Or maybe it's Hill Field. Yeah, they took us up to Hill Field. Anyway, we'll see where we're at. Visiting officers' quarters. Don't say where we're at. Maybe I'm lost. This looks like Washington, D.C., though. I thought I took more pictures flying in. Okay, we're getting on this big Skymaster, and we're going to fly it from here to South Carolina. U.S. Air Force. That's a Super Connie G. That was the presidential airplane in them days for Eisenhower. We're in Panama now. There comes a helicopter out over the jungle. I think these have been hard to see on a screen, but that camera brings it right out. Rained every day at 1 o'clock in Panama. You could have set your watch by. There, that's pretty good now. This air base was Clark Air Force Base, if I remember right, or Howard Air Force Base it was. It's carved right out of the jungle. Here's the Panama Canal part of it. I probably got some pictures of ships coming through it a little later on here. That's the drawbridge, and there's part of the Panama Canal where they controlled the locks. They'd raise them ships 90 feet in a matter of all the pumps in a matter of 30 minutes. Then they'd go on up to the next lock and go on through. I thought I had some better pictures of it here. Maybe I have later on. This is for old Torriega's time, by the way. There's the Caribbean Air Force Command Headquarters. This looks like out in front of something. I don't know who that is without... Oh, that's me! What do you know about that? I didn't know that civilian. It's a good-looking shirt I got. There's a ship coming through the locks. They had nice green lawns cut on both sides of the locks. Our biggest battleships couldn't go through there in them days, and they still can't. I don't know just where this is in Panama, but I'm sure we're still there. That's the locks again. They get all this water from clear up near, oh, what are some of those countries up there? Out of the springs, and they pump it down to raise. There's one of the locks. They just drop it down and pump the water up and the ship with it. And there's a better picture. And these little trolley tracks on the sides pull the ships through. Don't look like that ship's going to make it through them. No, they're closing. See, they're closing the locks. Now they'll pump that ship up and let the water out for it to come through some way. They raise them feet at a time. And that's some of the headquarters at Howard Air Force Base. There she's raining every day at 1 o'clock. Here we are flying. It must have been that Super Connie G, because that's what we flew in. This could have been a C-147. We're up above the clouds. We're probably on our way to Belém in Brazil now. That's the jungle down there. Boy, you get lost in that and you never find your way out. That's the Amazon River, part of it, as I remember. That old jungle just had a film of clouds right down next to the trees. I don't remember what they'd call that nowadays, greenhouse effect. There's the wing of the airplane again. I don't remember how many hours it took us to go from Panama to... Now there's the Amazon River. Where we crossed it farther down, it was 30 miles wide, and where it empties into the ocean, it was 200 miles wide. Big river. There it is again. Okay, there's a flying boat that they took us out to the jungle in. But they wouldn't let us take our cameras because the Navies didn't want their picture taken. That's a PBY-2. We landed in the Amazon River. There she goes down the runway. The Navy had quite a few of those during the war. There she is airborne. These are down the coast, and that's pure salt that you can see down there. Pure enough to eat on the Brazilian coast. They said, we don't even use this. We got salt mines. It's a lot better grade of salt. This is the old Lockheed Lodestar that flew us all over in Brazil. Them things out the back on the wing was where the flaps came back and down. That's just some more of the coastline and the ocean coming in. One day we flew in the fog all day from Rio de Janeiro to Porto Alegre, and I got a little nervous. And they says, don't worry, Major, we just kill pigeons and chickens over here. But there's the coastline again. We just kept out all the way down to the coastline. They flew us in this from Belém to Recife. There's looking back at the tail of it. We're not very high off the ground there. Oh, there's Tony. He was my guide and interpreter. He's a Spanish Puerto Rican. Don't know who he was, but he's talking to Taylor there. He was a good kid. He's from Oklahoma. He's telling us all about his country, I guess. This is at Recife from our hotel window. These are kind of Spanish-type houses with Spanish roofs on. There's lots of old churches over there. Lots of statues of Christ and paintings of Christ. This is up at one of the old churches here, and the guide's explaining it and telling everybody about it. I don't know these people. I guess they were the ones that were showing us around. That kid ain't got nothing on. There was two classes of people in Brazil at that time, the rich and the poor. You get just out of the cities and they lived bad. There's Tony, and there's the kid from Washington. I've forgotten these names too. There goes that kid again that didn't have no breeches on, I guess. This is the air base at, can't remember whether it's Rio de Janeiro or Recife. Them Spanish gals are good looking. There's the market. They get up at 1 o'clock in the morning and get down there and sell their wares, and then at 1 o'clock in the afternoon they'd all go home for a siesta. There wouldn't be anything on the streets till 6 o'clock that night or so. Oh boy, there's an old B-17. Look at that. Huh? Yeah, it's got a boat. Oh, this is the Air Force base at Recife, and that's a search and rescue airplane. They showed us a search and rescue mission and how they dropped that boat. I says, everybody ever got out of that jungle? And this guy, he was a general, he said, no. And I says, well, why do you teach jungle survival? And he says, oh, just for the morale of the pilots. There's that Air Force officer, he's drunk every day. Me and him didn't get along too good. On these air bases, they had their own cows, their own chickens, made their own bricks for the buildings and everything. You can see they got quite a few pack mules on these highways. I don't know what that's the limb of a tree, or I don't know these people here, but I took their picture. Cute little gal. Yeah, probably is. Oh, let's see. This is going across the harbor, probably at Rio de Janeiro. On the ferry, or it's a picture of a ferry. I guess I was already on the harbor. I must have been on it there, though. That's close to the wheelhouse. This is a Recife, because the police kept yelling at us, told us to get out of there. There's a shark close to me. I don't know whether he's kidding or not. I never did see the shark. Boy, that wave took us for a roll in. Good thing I wasn't going out the other way, or we'd ended up out in the ocean. There's the old rock in the harbor. Oh, I found a seashell. Look at that. I think I brought that home. There's some kid on a sailboat. These little kids in Brazil will go out and catch sharks on these sailboats. We saw them, 200 miles out in the ocean out there all alone. And I asked the one, I said, what happens if a storm comes up? And he says, we just lash ourselves to the mast and ride it out. Just some of our cadets, they're having a little trouble with that sailboat. Oh, these pictures taken on this old millionaire's island. I own 1 square inch of his island. He gave me a deed to his island for 1 square inch. There's Tony, our guide. Like I said, anytime we'd run out of money, he'd just go get another wallet full from the government. He was quite a ladies' man, Tony was. There's the old millionaire's house. That's him right there. They made him president of the Aero Club every year because he'd buy him a new airplane. Made his money in real estate and sugar cane and paper mills. He was a nice guy. He was a clown. He was always clowning around. You can tell that the way he walks. This is where we had a meal. It was about 14 courses. There's one of the goldfish out of his pool there. These are some of the kids that was there at his house, some of his relatives. There's the cadets. I can't remember that major's name, but like I say, me and him didn't get along. He left me to do all the speaking, all the work, and he done all the drinking. There, he's got a fish out of his tank there. He's quite a guy. He was always clowning, doing something to make it fun for us. Here's flying to the sugarcane mill out there. And the pilot I was flying with, we got lost. We never did find the sugarcane. We landed at another airport, and then we got our bearings and found our way back to where he's going. This was Sao Paulo. At that time, it was the fastest growing city in the world. You could look out any window and see a new skyscraper being built. And this is from an airplane. Yeah, we didn't know where we was when we started for this sugarcane plantation, paper mill plantation. There's one of the airplanes that flew some of us out. I thought Brazil would be kind of backward, but boy, they weren't. They still made scaffolds out of willows to build some of their buildings, but what the heck? Boy, look at that. We must have been doing a loop there for flying upside down. Looks like we're coming into land here. There we touched down. I forgot all about these films. Oh, there's my two little sweethearts from Brazil. She was our guide in one of the cities for a while. Don't remember their names either. They were in 4-H. Here's all the cadets that took down there. That one from New Jersey, I could understand Portuguese better than I could understand him. These are some of the mayors and dignitaries. We had a party every night with some general, or there's the old millionaire boy again. See what I mean? He's always clowning. This is one of the terminals. Don't look like they've quite got it finished. That's the end of that one.